It's pretty simple. How did Arcane lose to Fallout? Arcane Season 2, the culmination of 12 years of pure hard work from the writers, screenwriters, 2D animators, and 3D animators. This is what $250 million should look like. A work of art that turned a messy game with toxic player base into a cohesive storyline that can stand by itself and not the developer's headcanons that could or not become canon. Made a story out of 5 vs 5 MOBA has the best kind of storytelling. The storytelling that involves multiple stories happening parallelly to one another, with every scene have meaning and not being a filler so the episode can have its quota of time. Every background detail, everything in Arcane. And Arcane is a story of sisterhood and division, and about politics and the corruption of a dream and of your ideals. The Season 2 is a great ending for a story. Definitely not a good ending in the sense of we're all satisfied, but a great ending to the series nonetheless. Season 2 is the ending of all these beautiful stories we saw for 4 years, with a few blocky paths in the middle of the road compared to the first season, but a few bumps on the road can stop the best module of a card that I won't freely advertise now, can it? But Fallout, ooh, Fallout. Fallout. 3 stories, 3 online-based characters, from a system that's straight from the game. Lucy, the good aligned protagonist, Maximus, the neutral aligned protagonist, and my personal favorite, the Ghoul, the evil aligned protagonist. 3 people with different backgrounds that also have different moral codes and different ways to affect the wastelands. Lucy, an upbeat woman who always believes that being kind and gentle is always the right path, but slowly but surely the wasteland corrupts her beliefs. Maximus, a man who seems initially selfish, always trying to achieve his objective of becoming a good soldier for the ideal of the Brotherhood of Steel that's in his mind, admiring those he thought saved him, only to be met with the corruption of an ideal he once admired. The Ghoul, once a good man who fought in the war and believed in the system. An actor who was saddened by his character becoming a twisted version of himself, because he believed that he was such a good man that couldn't do brutal things. Became the primal example that a good man who lost everything could become a twisted version of his past self, enjoying the suffering of others and killing freely. The only one that changed him, at least slightly, was Lucy, offering him the mercy he never offered her, and saving him from losing himself. He started giving mercy to others as well, seemingly not enjoying the suffering of others as before. All these characters are changed thanks to the other's influence. The Ghoul changes Lucy to be more skeptical and think more cruelly on the wasteland, but that doesn't shadow her good nature. Lucy changes Maximus to think positively on the world, as much as to the point of giving him hope of a better world and a better life than the Brotherhood could have to offer. And Lucy herself influences the Ghoul, teaching him a lesson that he himself forgot thanks to the cruel years he spent in the wastelands, to have mercy, to have a single speck of goodness in his heart. A series that actually has the themes that Fallout games wish they could show these days. Now, the question comes, why did it Fallout over Arcane? Why did it happen? What's so different between the two of them? Better yet, which is the better adaptation? No writing the scenes, the facial expressions, the simple level of artistry that Arcane offers is simply outmatched by any animation before. Tell me, have any of you seen an 18 episode 40 minute 3D or 2D animation with this level of detail? The facial expressions, the way they talk and breathe, no rotoscoping, no mocap, and they made the animation seem so human, so full of passion. Fallout is a good animation from a game. Yes, I agree on it. It's a good Fallout experience. That's why when it launched, Fallout 2 peaked in numbers once again, numbers I haven't seen before. Because the Fallout playing experience and the series adaptation are basically the same. But that's also a problem. They stuck themselves with what the game was and will still be. They basically copy-pasted Fallout's formula about finding someone that's important to you and studied on the most important protagonist, Lucy. They reused the most reused and nostalgia-based organization in the game, the Brotherhood of Steel, on the one protagonist that is at least interesting and original as a great character. And they made the Ghoul, who fits every category of the badass cowboy who doesn't care about anybody but themselves, but flashed them out with flashbacks and made his story interesting, because he has a valid objection that most people can get behind. Arcane, on the other hand, revamped every single character, changed their lore from their very core because they weren't afraid of who would complain about the changes, and why should they? They changed Jinx and Vi dynamic, making a Harlequin cop into an interesting character with real-life issues many people can relate and invest themselves in, and making Vi, who was a haha, police brutality is fun, into a tragic character who is purely selfless and does everything to protect everyone she loves. And with both of them change, their enemy dynamic becomes much more interesting than simply haha, you are my sis, we enemies. Victor and Jace, the Machine Herald and Protector of Tomorrow, from I hate this guy, he thinks of himself too highly, to a sincere brotherhood, which both of them would burn the world to preserve, as they almost did. Victor grew from an interesting character from LoL that believes in the betterment of organic life into machine, to someone who believes their augmentations are so good and such an improvement to mankind that they should be applied to everybody, no matter where they are, no matter who they are, no matter what they want. Jace goes from a narcissist who thinks everybody should match his smart and genius, and turns into a poor kid of the rich kids, a man who dreams to save people and help people's lives with the use of magic via technology. All the characters from Arcane were changed, and they weren't afraid to make OG characters just as important as the previously established characters from the game. Silco and Ambessa, Civica are the best examples there could ever be. Arcane is a masterclass about how you should adapt anything at all. Do it from every single aspect of the piece you're adapting in mind, and think of improving it, not trying to maintain the status quo of the quality it previously were. Every single scene in Arcane has meaning and depth, from character designs and background details. Fall, on the other hand, didn't innovate anything from the previous established horror. They tied some plot holes in the franchise, but was anything new and impressive added? A vault that was basically a Unix with the Vault Tech employees. The Brotherhood is back and stronger and more corrupt. Such a new idea. This concept definitely wasn't there since the first game. And better yet, you know that game everyone loves, Fallout New Vegas, became millions of people beg Bethesda to do anything even closely similar to it. And Todd Howard's keep on pushing that same formula that worked 15 years ago and ignoring their fans' requests. That just completely destroy anything that game has to offer. And the consequences of it. Yeah. Oh, what? The case elision? House? The NCR actually having more than one base of operations? Oh, you silly goof. That doesn't matter, because as you know, a single town being exploded is enough to dump a whole thriving society. Of course, Arcane has a couple of issues as well. It's not the most perfect, pristine thing that ever exists. It comes close. The bad timing on the Sesbi and Lex of our Caitlyn and Vi, the cut content of what happened to Echoes and Jinx that didn't give us clear thought on what actually happened between the two of them, mostly actually had a few holes that could have used a single extra episode to polish things out. But that doesn't really excuse their faults still, but you know. Both Arcane and Fallout are good adaptations. I could even say they're one of the best adaptations of all time. But Arcane level of quality far surpasses that of Fallout. And in technical writing, in writing, in every sense of the way, Fallout did what everyone was expecting. Arcane surpassed every expectation anyone had in it.